Greetings everyone, this is Abdurrahman Maiman. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Friends, this video is going to be really interesting for those who are either coming in January intake or they are trying to opt for September intake. This video is divided into 5 parts: studies, part-time jobs, accommodation, future of jobs and cost of living. Dear friends, before coming to the UK, I was already having established career inside Pakistan. I was about to reach a point where I would have seen stability into my life. However, I chose against the obvious and I challenged myself to fulfill my dreams. That was to study in a university where I could pursue my dreams. And this was the only opportunity available in my life to opt the field which I always wanted to pursue. There was a time when I selected to study abroad, Nottingham Trent University. I always had some expectations. After watching the videos or maybe reading many articles regarding the life inside the UK or studies or accommodation inside the UK, when I came over here, many of the things I felt were not the way that I expected. That is the reason I wanted to make this video, where I wanted to clear for the students coming ahead that they should know what is the reality, what they should expect after coming to the UK. Friends, starting from the studies, either you are a bachelor or a master's students. Many of the students who come over here, they are being told that the studies over here are easier. That is true for those who have nearly completed their studies. Like if you've just completed your bachelor's, you're coming for the master's, or after your A-levels, you're coming or joining for the bachelor's. If you're watching this video, I assume that you would be coming here to build up the skill set in any required field. There are multiple students who come here to enjoy the life. I presume that you would not be one of them. Yes, so I was telling you about the studies. Many students who come over here, they don't have that mindset that university studies won't be giving them tough time. However, against the expectations, many of the students, when they come here, they realize that they are being given the tough time by the universities, and they fail to meet the expectations of the universities, either in bachelor's or master's. Even with my personal experience, I know there are many students who have been asked to take a leave from the university or join any other university because they cannot cope up with the studies. So always have positive expectations from the universities. Instead of thinking this way that you'd just be attending the university, that would just be a formality and like other things would be far more important for you. This is not the right way to think, and this is not the way that you are going to play long inside the UK. Well, as far as part-time jobs are concerned, we always have the expectations that we are going to find the jobs easily. That is not the reality. Many of the students, I personally know, even myself, I struggle to find part-time jobs or the jobs which I thought I would love to work like. I always tried, many a times I tried to find a job of reception or maybe admin somewhere, but I haven't been able to find such a job. Even though you would be able to find jobs in retail shops or maybe warehouses where you would be legally able to earn around 700 to 800 pounds. There are many students who expect that during their term time they would be able to earn maybe 2,000 to 3,000 pounds. That is not the reality. Majority of the students, when they come up with this plan immediately fails and they are in the trouble from the day one of the university. However, this is possible in your term break. As far as accommodations are concerned, either you're coming as a bachelor or master students. In the accommodations, many of the students are also facing a lot of problems finding the accommodation. I presume that you would have read these posts that many students fail to find accommodation even after a month or so. There was this article published in one of the newspaper of Scotland, which said students had to live inside the parks or somewhere at the public places because they could not find the accommodation in the initial days. In my case, I had to apply for more than 200 places just to get one apartment. I wanted an apartment for my wife and myself because a separate apartment. That's where I had to struggle find the right accommodation. When I was just sending in the emails with the help of Zoopla, Rightmove, and many other softwares which work over here, all the agents or all the agencies were asking for guarantors and all those things. When I was able to provide all these things, at the end of the day, many of them said that they are not going to deal with the students. Some of them showed me the apartment, I went and saw the apartment, and at the end of the day, I found that more than 10 or 20 applicants were there, and the tenant or the owner has opted for someone else. So that was the scenario. I had to live for more than 3 weeks in an Airbnb room where I spent more than £1,200. This this sort of expense was never in my plans. I know many students who came as individuals or separately. They really they could not find accommodation for themselves and for like maybe weeks, and they had to live again with someone, share an apartment, share a room with them. Request those students because they could not afford the Airbnb. They had to request to the students to give them space for some time, and many of those found those temporary accommodations, and some of those could not find. Eventually, they had to go and maybe live on Airbnb. That's where the students were really worried. So these all things, you should always keep these things inside your mind. You should always try to finalize your accommodation before coming to the UK. That's the ideal case scenario. Even if you are unable to find an accommodation outside like before coming to the UK, you should be well prepared for the scenarios that might take afterwards. As far as cost of living is concerned, every day cost of living is rising. This will especially impact those people who are coming with their family. We already know that UK is under recession. Cost of utilities, cost of eatables, everything is going up. Maybe by 1st January, it is calculated that it's going to inflation will further rise. This will have the impact on us. The students who are coming with the families, it's not going to be that easy. However, it's not going to be impossible to live with the families. These conditions, these countries always have the solution of a lot of problems. If you try to look for the solutions beyond the obvious, then you might be able to find the solution of your problems if you're coming here. Last but not the least, fifth factor that I want to talk about, and that is very important: future of jobs. You should always keep in mind. This should always be an important factor while you're selecting the fields. When you're coming over here in 2023 or in the start of the 2024, the job market is not going to be the ideal. It's not going to be the way it is used to be. So one should always have the resilience and patience to apply for multiple jobs, to improve his skill set, and to be among the best to get the jobs. The best thing about UK is PSW. Even if you're earning minimum wages, you'd be able to earn enough wages to meet your ends and maybe save some of the amount for yourself and your family. So I've just tried to be as realistic as possible. Like many of the students, we as the students have a lot of expectations when we come over here. I am of the point of view that one should always know the realities before coming over here. So if you are resilient enough, courageous enough to take the risk, then I would highly suggest you to come at this point. Because after the recession, companies would try to find the best people for the jobs. Companies would try to expand their businesses. That's where you would be able to grab the ideal job for your careers. Eventually, you'd be able to convert your PSW into a sponsored visa, and at the end of the day, you would be becoming a citizen of the UK. Last but not the least, I saw a video. A very famous YouTuber was asking students not to come in the UK because of the recession and all the problems that are taking place right now. You should always know that current government is trying to limit PSW, and there is a possibility that next year they might end up PSW because they have received enough number of students or enough number of migrants which they hoped for or they would have expected to come in maybe 5 years or 10 years. So this is the ideal time for you to come and avail the opportunity of PSW. Thank you very much for watching the video. Hope you like the stuff. Stay connected for more videos. Like and subscribe. Thank you very much.